Russian President Vladimir Putin announced on February 24 a military operation in Ukraine to defend separatists in the east of the country. Putin also vowed retaliation against those who interfere with the Russian-Ukraine operation. The announcement came after leaders of two Ukrainian separatist groups appealed to Moscow for help to stop alleged Ukrainian aggression. He also called on the Ukraine military to lay down its arms. Explosions were heard in Kharkiv, a major Ukrainian city just south of the Russian border, after Putin's announcement. As Russia starts military operation in Ukraine, here are estimations of the military capabilities of Russia. Russia and Ukraine are the two of the largest countries in Eurasia. The neighbors were part of the 15 Soviet republics that made up the SSR. Following the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, Ukraine became an independent country and distanced itself from Russia after Ukraine's 2014 Revolution of Dignity, which saw months-long protests ultimately topple pro-Moscow Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych. Putin used the power vacuum to annex Crimea and back separatists in the southeastern provinces of Donetsk and Luhansk. The ongoing fighting there has killed more than 14,000 people, according to Kiev, and displaced millions. Russia versus Ukraine military comparison. Defying the reunification of Crimea, NATO and Russia have been at odds for a while. As a result, the region has been impacted adversely. Ukrainian authorities and Western nations claim that Russian paramilitary units had occupied Ukrainian borders during the last month of the Ukrainian Revolution. Despite this, Russia insisted that these were self-defense troops and not military units. U.S. and European officials contend that this violates international law. A threat to soldiers and their families has caused Ukraine to withdraw its forces. The Russian military has already taken control of 189 military bases in Crimea and deployed 10,000 troops in different locations. Approximately 80 Ukrainian soldiers were captured by Russian assault units near the Crimean port in Feodosia. Russian armored personnel carriers have also entered the Novotorosko military base and Belbek air base. According to the Ukrainian army, several Russian assault boats, including 2 helicopters, 3 speed ships, and a tugboat, have seized a Ukrainian naval vessel off the coast of Crimea. Russian efforts to build the new Soviet Union are increasingly apparent. Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych fled to Russia and sought assistance from Russian leader Vladimir Putin to restore the legitimate government in his country. The interim Ukrainian President Oleksandr Tuchinov believes that both nations will suffer from Russia's aggression. Nuclear weapons of Russia. As far as researching, developing, and storing nuclear weapons, this is the second most crucial state. Russians could catch up with Americans later. But it wasn't until 1949 that the SSR conducted its first nuclear test. Western powers also found it surprising, as they believed that Russia would not be able to produce nuclear warheads until the 1950s or early 1960s. After the initial test was conducted, the number of warheads was increased immediately. In the 1980s, the Soviet Union was the most significant power in warhead storage. It stored nearly 40,000 weapons. As a nation that conducted over 700 nuclear weapons tests, Russia is considered the second most important in nuclear weapons development. Like the United States, Russia now has 6,490 warheads, which is hardly more than the United States. Similarly, there are 1,600 deployed warheads compared to 1,600 in the American case. In reality, the world's largest bomb is the Russian-made giant bomb. The blast yield was 50 megatons of TNT, known as Tsar Bomba. Nuclear weapons of Ukraine. Although Ukraine does not possess nuclear weapons today, it did have approximately 5,000 nuclear weapons back in the day. Ukraine was once a part of the Soviet Union before 1991. Explaining this situation, as a consequence of its dissolution, all the satellites and states that had been forcibly attached to the SSR received several warheads. The Soviet Union had owned them previously. Ukraine, however, received everything that belonged to the SSR after it became independent, including nuclear weapons. Due to this, Ukraine became the third largest nuclear weapon holder globally. These weapons were disposed of relatively quickly in Ukraine. They then joined the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty 3 years later. In 1994, Russian forces moved and disassembled all of the warheads in 1996. Head-to-head military strengths of Russia and Ukraine. In terms of active personnel, Russia has nearly 850,000 active personnel, and Ukraine have only 250,000. Russia's air power is also more powerful than Ukraine. Russia has more than 4,100 aircraft, with 772 fighters, while Ukraine only has 318 total aircraft, with just 69 fighter aircraft. In terms of land military power, Russia has around 12,500 tanks and Ukraine only has around 2,600 tanks and 12,000 armored vehicles, while Russia has more than 30,000 armored vehicles. In terms of fighter aircraft, Russia has 772 fighter jets, while Ukraine has just 69. Some analysts think a Russian attack would rely upon long-range weaponry such as cruise missiles to target key Ukrainian sites from distance. In recent weeks, NATO countries have been supplying Ukraine with additional lethal aid, such as the UK provision of 2,000 anti-tank weapons. Yet while these shipments are designed to make any Russian invasion costlier to them, few experts believe these weapons would change the immediate outcome of a Russian attack. So that's it for today. If you like this video, then please hit the like and subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching.